but also to the Black community that refuses to do their research. Like if more Black people read books like Back of the Hiring Line by Roy Beck or knew who Barbara Jordan was, we would know that illegal immigration, especially in the mass, does an extreme disservice to the Black community. I mean, it's common sense supply and demand. If you increase the amount of people who are willing to do work for $2 an hour, what does that do to the people who are demanding $7 an hour or $10 an hour or $15 an hour? As an employer, why would I pay you $15 an hour when I have someone else willing to work for $2 an hour? And
Yeah.
Democrats, they try and pride themselves on the party of increasing minimum wage, but at the very same time,
Like the very people that Democrats say they are for, black community, this and that, that they advocate for, are the very people out there hurting with
right?
illegal immigration. I want to talk about that situation that we just looked at. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, it's the state and the mindset of the majority in the Black community, I feel.
Yeah.
Anyone who isn't a Democrat, anyone who identifies as Republican, they're considered racist. And at one point in time, I thought the same thing because that's what I was told coming up. I was
Yeah.
raised to vote Democrat down the ballot.
Uh huh.
Until I went to until I paid attention to policy, one, but until I went to my first Republican meeting, I thought Republicans were the enemy. They're so nice, and I'm not saying that they're perfect, and I said that in my speech. But not only do I lean more conservative, Republicans are not all, but a lot of them are really nice, nicer than Democrats. But regardless, you don't call someone racist simply because they identify as a Republican. That's just stupid. It's small minded. And in the statement that he made, he said that he was grappling with the idea that we wouldn't have enough votes to support the Citizens Review Board for the police department.
Yeah.
I blame not only the media for neglecting to report that hit attempt from 2022 officially, but I also blame the city council. I mean, this is the biggest scandal that I have ever heard of in politics, and I mean ever heard of. Nobody has ever presented this much evidence against a sitting official in my lifetime or even before my lifetime. The fact that we have someone that's literally on camera trying to put out a hit on someone and he's allowed to run for re-election is just insane to me. I live in like the district that I'm running for now on a city level and the congressional district that I'm about to announce my run for. I know for a fact that the voters in those districts, they're heavily Democrat. They're
Yeah.
heavily Democrat. But especially in the Black community, we are conservative. We just don't want to admit it. Like if you actually hold a
Exactly.
conversation, especially with the older population in the Black community, we're conservative. We just
Oh
don't want to
yeah.
admit it. And it's tragic because when you have someone like me, my number one strategy for running any campaign is going door to door, especially being grassroots, and
Yeah.
especially running against incumbents. I'm not going for open seats. I'm challenging someone who has been in a seat for years or for at least a decade, and we know that they're not doing their job.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about some of the things on your bio. I want to know a little bit more about the Airbnb situation. How are you partnering with them and providing affordable housing?
So I actually don't do any Airbnb anymore.
Okay.
Airbnb is how I kind of got started into real estate. After or during my senior year in college, I used my last two Pell Grants to jump into real estate investing. And I started
Okay.
out with Airbnb when it was lucrative in Dallas during 2020, during the lockdown and
Mhm.
everything. And then I went into travel nurses, regular long term tenants, but now I only house Section 8 tenants. So exclusively, I only
Okay.
work with the affordable housing program, which is getting HAP contracts for or from the state of Texas. You don't know a conservative Hispanic, you just don't know enough Hispanics. You haven't had enough conversations because from Fort Worth to all the way to Dallas, and I've knocked on doors from Fort Worth to Dallas because that's where my congressional district lies. There are conservative Hispanics. And
A lot.
anybody with any common sense is a conservative or at least have conservative values, especially when it comes to the border.
Right. And if you look back at the election results in 2024,
Yeah.
in Texas, Trump received 55% of the Hispanic vote. I mean, that's huge. So that tells
Yeah.
me right there. And then Trump ran on the border. That was one of his biggest issues.
Right.
Both times he ran. Well, yeah, the first time and then the last time he ran, the border was one of his biggest issues he ran on. And the Hispanic community rallied behind him, especially in
Right.
2024, here in
Right.
Texas at least.
Right. You're
So that
absolutely
just goes
right.
to, yeah, that just goes to show you that they do want secure borders. They
Hmm.
are here as American citizens, and they don't agree with people just coming across unchecked and not assimilating to our way of living.
Right.
Um,
Unsuccessful in this council, the city council race, which the election day is May 3rd. By May 4th, if not before then, I will announce my run again for U.S. House District 33 to unseat Mark Beasy.
okay, very good. And if you do win city council, then you would, because it's a 2 year term, right? Yeah,
It's a
every 2
two-year
years.
term.
Okay.
It's a two-year term, and Congress is up for re-election next year in 2026. So if
Mm.
I am successful in this run, I will wait at least two terms. Although I don't
Okay.
want to because Congress was my plan.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat
Yeah.
the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.